of you for this session, which is building a sustainable digital ecosystem and the role of PSUs in shaping future technologies. Now, I am putting questions on behalf of common citizens, which I can afford to because all of you are from PSUs. And so my favorite peeve have been, in terms of India being a digitally sovereign nation, the role of PSUs is very critical. And all of you come from very diverse background, from data centers to oil, to broadcasting, and so on, freight corridors. Now, if we are dependent on various solutions provider which are not sovereign, are we really self-reliant in managing such critical infrastructure? I think that's the background, and I would urge all of you to, bring that aspect while I'll be asking you relevant questions regarding your background. So, Suneel ji, I'll start with you. You are leading a very important function in MPSeDC, which is a state government data center. Now, how do you see the state government role in creating a digital sustainable ecosystem? Because somewhere you are regulated by Government of India policies. At the same time, within the state government, you are also a service provider to various departments in the state government, which may be 50 in numbers or more, and discounting the directorates. So how do you see your role?
See, basically, when we're talking about digital governance, it's basically three components. It's a balance between technology, data, and governance. So the governance processes are there. And we need to balance the three in the sense when we go and create e-governance applications, and I would focus more on creation of e-governance applications. We have to have, and most of these are citizen-centric applications. So one of the points there is that we have to have resilience. These applications have to be robust. So the role is that, and you have to integrate, you have to have seamless integration across departments. The major challenge is that same data or same app, there are two departments which have to talk to each other. So if I develop an application, an e-governance application which caters to Department A, and then Department B has a separate application, in the traditional system, we saw that they wouldn't talk to each other. There would be a lot of misinformation. There would be different platforms. There would be different technologies. So bringing in that kind of talk, bringing in that kind of communication and integration across departments, across applications is what is very essential. And also, it also goes down to streamlining some of the processes. A lot of processes, a lot of e-governance processes get redefined when you are sort of digitizing it.
What type of a policy or regulatory support you will require to adopt next-gen technologies?
I think the regulatory and when
specifically,
we're talking about,
if you look at, you talked about citizen applications.
Yeah.
You did talk about non-standardization, lack of enterprise architecture in the state government departments. In such a situation, what type of a regulatory support you will require?
A regulatory support in the sense, if you look at it from a central perspective, there are certain frameworks which are being sort of introduced. So adoption to standardized frameworks, and from a regulatory perspective, again, we're talking about sustainability. So there has to be some kind of regulation for promoting, data centers. The data centers have to be green. Promotion of green data centers, environment-friendly data centers, and also, optimization of energy.
Okay. So with that, I'll move to our next guest, Mr. Alok Shankar Pandey ji, who is coming from DFCCIL, which is Dedicated Freight Corridor. Now, in this situation, your organization is dependent on, again, IT systems. It is using a lot of, power, which is, a question mark, or in terms whether it is green or not. In such a situation, how do you leverage digital infrastructure to enhance your freight efficiency, your sustainability. What is your thoughts on that?
So thank you for that wonderful question. And before I answer the question, disclaimer, views expressed are strictly personal, do not in any way reflect views of the organization that I have served either today or in the past. Now with the disclaimer in place, I can talk about things that you want me to address. And what I would want to tell over here is we have had the benefit of being a late starter. So DFCCIL was conceptualized mid 2000s, but implementation started 2014. Rollout implementation started 2014. Government of India's Digital India mission was also 2015. Around that time it came through. So we are kind of a PSU which is born digital. Our entire infrastructure of operational infrastructure is digital, though in the highly, I would say, a highly complex OT environment, which has the ingredients of all kinds of OT that you visualize otherwise in each different business verticals. It's a complex integration of the entire thing. And it would not be possible if you did not leverage IT on it. And going forward, so you had that advantage of being kind of born IT. And adoption of technologies, since you were born IT, you had certain data frameworks in place. You could leverage new technologies, and especially the AI, MLs and the things that we keep talking today, to generate, again, typical business use cases for the railways. So if I have to today find a fault with a moving train where something is underslung, I don't need that in the traditional way a human was used to go and check whether what is under. I have a machine vision inspection system which sees through it. There were complexities of the operational technology service providers who have this proprietary protocol. So we came up with a thin layer on top which did the integration bit of it. So there were a number of places that we have leveraged technology, but then I will compare to other PSUs or the mother Ministry of Railways, we were ahead and we could do this only because we had the advantage of late starting.
So, Alok ji, I'm a consultant, so I have to find faults in everything. So you said you are a digital PSU. Now, being a digital PSU is fraught with risk, especially in today's world when we had a very tough time at our borders. In such a situation, when we are the backbone, your organization is the backbone of country's economy. If you are digitally exposed and there are threats on cyber security, how do you keep yourself resilient there?
The threats of cyber security are, as you said, real. And one of the thumb rules that we have adopted is, though many consultants and many people over here may not agree, is maintain air gap. So I know, I'm aware there are cases where air gap has been jumped. There are cases of Stuxnet. There's some silver bullets in the business case of integration, but we have adhered to one air gap. Second, we are also looking at the fundamentals of basically cybersecurity do not change. So pick up any framework and apply. So that remains that way. Complexity with OT security is that proprietary protocols. So again, we collaborated with people, and it's something which is still work in hand because all proprietary protocols cannot be read. But we are kind of adopted a deep packet inspection of kind of an approach where even if the endpoint device does not have the adequate compute, or the IoT which does not have the adequate compute and memory to support independent security solutions, you are doing a DNA fingerprinting of the whole thing. And you're saying, okay, if this person speaks, this is the standard pattern of speaking. Any variation is an anomaly. So you flag it and then do anomaly detection on it, and then say whether it's a false alarm or a positive alarm. And from there again, so that is the solution. You're leveraging machine learning on it over a period of time to reduce the number of alarms. So that is how we are surviving on addressing the OT-related cybersecurities.
Okay. So Suneel ji mentioned the issue of interoperability amongst his departments. Now, we are in an era where multimodal transport is becoming an important area for performance improvement for various industries. How do we reduce the time in transportation and shifting to the different modes of transport? Now, in this situation, how do you plan to have interoperable systems with various other transport, or there is any plan in future so that there could be sharing of data and information, thereby easing the movement of goods from one mode to the other?
So that problem may not be very pertinent to me in specific because I have one customer and one master. So that is the relationship. Ministry of Railway controls me and Ministry of Railway is my only customer. So that is the period of it. But the problem which you are speaking has got intricacies in the way of, again, as I said, proprietary is what is one thing we have dealt at the operational technology level. But the problem can be addressed or has been even addressed by at least the digital public infrastructure by leveraging something called data exchange. So I'm not talking of classical data layer, but at least at a data exchange that can be created to speak between two applications or multiple applications, multitude of applications, and sharing of data on need-to-know basis, when everyone also, it becomes kind of a trusted platform where you may not want to part with your data, so you keep your data, but only the data that is relevant to me comes to me for the period that is required, and then I shard it. So that's the end of it. So a data exchange platform, as I said, has been used in public infrastructure, could be evolved at the national level for multiple application aggregations. So that is something can be thought.
Thank you, Alok ji. Now moving on to Vidya Sagar ji. Vidya Sagar ji is coming from National Small Industries Corporation. Now in our country, I truly believe that if we have to become a Viksit Bharat by 2047, the small industries, the MSMEs, the SHGs, JLGs, all these have to play much, much important and critical part. And if these have to play a critical part, the digital enablement of these organizations is a very important parameter. Now, you as NSIC, how are you looking at digital initiatives which will create social impact through these MSMEs or small industries?
Thank you, sir. As I would take the reference of Pandey ji, he said his organization is digitally born, or he have that advantage. We are totally opposite. So if you see, NSIC was established in 1955. We have just celebrated our 70 years of existence, and we have seen all those industrialization journey starting from the Pandit Nehru coming to our center where the basic toolkits were displayed, and the whole journey. So, but the good thing is that we are changing with times, and we have especially more so because we are a service organization, and our this transformation is important not only for ourselves, but as you rightly said, it is for the economy, or it is because the MSMEs, we all know that they contribute almost 40% to the GDP, 45% to the export and all that, all those big numbers. So that's why it becomes very, very important for us to take care of this digital transformation of MSMEs. And if we have to really achieve this 5 trillion economy or even 1 trillion digital economy, MSME is going to play a big, big role. So in that aspect, a lot of work have been done, and I would like to share one of the recent initiative. All of us know probably ONDC, which is the DPIIT idea, which is the e-commerce enablement for MSMEs. But the problem is that any such initiative where there are large number of seller or MSMEs have to be kind of roped in, you have to, MSME ministry and NSIC have to play its role, and then only that can succeed. So recently, under the World Bank funded RAMP, Raising and Accelerating MSME Performance, initiative of the MSME ministry, a new initiative called TEAM, Trade Enablement and Marketing Initiative, have been launched, where it's a 277 crore scheme for e-commerce enablement of MSMEs. And that's very, very important because if we can provide market access support to MSME and we can bring them digital, Because traditionally we all know there are great artisans, great, manufacturer creating great product. But somehow what happens, even the national award winner artisan, nobody knows except outside his town. So that's the irony. So that we have to change, and that's we are working on. So NSIC already had a platform called msmemart.com for this, making them more visible and discoverable with the power of internet. But we have gone one step ahead with this team initiative, and so in this team we are targeting to benefit at least 5 lakh beneficiaries under this scheme. 50% have to be women, that's the mandate, so that there is again social inclusion is taken care. And the best, I come from the corporate background. I was with corporates, and then through lateral I joined the NSIC. So I was even with Jabong when it was at its peak, e-commerce, Aditya Birla and all those organizations. So we understand, and throughout my life I have worked with MSMEs only because of the roles. So we spend almost 2 years in designing this, product, which is in government. Yeah, it takes time, but we had to ensure that it is solving the real problem, and MSME don't have to struggle. So that's the way it has been. Since I was myself was part of the e-commerce, so I understand where there were problems, and then the MSMEs. So what happens is that in normal e-commerce, MSMEs maybe join, but they drop. Almost, more than 80% drop. They don't survive even for 6 months. And because of various reasons, we all know. So I would not like to go there. So that's where this initiative important, so, and it has been designed in a manner that MSME do not have to spend even a single rupee. There is no reimbursement kind of thing. And subsidies still being provided to them. For end-to-end journey of digital transformation, so that's the best part, starting from onboarding on the network, then digital cataloging, then after digital cataloging, most of the people drop. Normally, when the normal e-commerce, people go with the full energy, and then they do the digital cataloging, but they, lost out somewhere. They are not able to manage the complete journey. So it have been taken care that for 6 months complete hand-holding, account management, and for every aspect of the e-commerce enablement have been taken care with the account management subsidy, transportation, packaging, logistics, AI cataloging, and all those, the best of the technologies are being adopted. So that's, I think, it have just started. So we think with this, we will be able to make a really big difference to the MSMEs as far as market access is concerned. Apart from this, if you see NSIC is into holistically, it's a kind of 360 support to MSMEs. So we are into marketing support to MSMEs, we are providing credit support to MSMEs, we are providing technology to MSMEs, we are also providing skilling. So a lot of work have been done in the new areas, including the Industry 4, all the components of Industry 4, AR, VR, 3D printing, robotics. We are providing the best, latest in the world, training. Even the best of the engineering college or the universities, professors are being trained in our Okhla campus. You will be amazed to know. And it is the real, on the kind of, machines and, real training. In fact, we have collaborated with Samsung. There is an AI innovation lab training is being given to the MSMEs and even to the entrepreneurs or even to the young, who are looking for some kind of, job or career in that area. LG have opened first center of excellence in electronics in our campus, in Okhla campus. So a lot of areas have been taken care. Apart from e-commerce, we have also recently launched ICT digital services to MSMEs. In that, what we are doing is that we are partnering with the best player in the market who, whatever the product and services are used the MSME business journey. We partner with Joho, we partner with DNB, and some big names are in pipeline. So to again the same idea that make them digitally enabled and increase their capacity, reduce their cost, increase the efficiency. So with the ultimate aim of the achieving the Viksit Bharat.
So you did talk about towards the last, you are partnering with a few vendors who are in the ERP domain.
Yes.
All right. Now, is there any thought of having a ERP developed by the government, which is available to the MSMEs, cloud-based solution, which helps them in better planning, better being more efficient?
Yes, so yeah, so in fact for this MSME ministry had a scheme called Digital MSME and NSIC was the implementing agency and we were working on that. So, but there is a kind of pro and cons both of it. So MSME segment is very, very diverse. Starting from the micro or nano, the new definition, and then micro, and then small, and then medium, and we are industry agnostic. So all kind of industry, starting from food, perishable, technology, and the electrical and textile and leather and chemical, all. So it is very, very, in my personal view, it is, even though government thinks that there can be one, the ERP which suits all, but it is very difficult because they have the various needs of the MSME, and not only that, but there have to be. My view is that why to reinvent the wheel when the wheel is already invented, right? So it's better to kind of offer various already established product in the market to the MSME as per their need, and provide them some financial assistance or hand-holding or training. In that's better view. But of course there are both the views, and within the organization or in the government, and that is. But yes, it is under very, very serious consideration, and work is going on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So now moving over to Sandeep ji. Sandeep ji has been in Indian Oil Corporation and has played various roles in technology, in projects. So I think I expect him to bring him a lot of wisdom in the answers which I'll be putting on to him. Indian Oil is one of, I think, the largest oil PSUs of our country. And it has taken various initiatives, various large projects, especially when today we talk about, how green are we, right? We talk about sustainability in future. And typically when you think about sustainability, then oil is the last thing you think of. You start to move towards EV, you start to think about hydrogen, which is not the core business of IOCL. Now in this situation, when we are there, then how do IOCL see its project vis-a-vis the sustainable goals which the organization has? So can you just help us understand, and especially while you are answering this, please do cover about your personal projects where you helped or you served the organization on GIS project, and the second one was intrusion detection, pipeline intrusion detection. How do you correlate all this within sustainability?
Thank you, sir. And again, it's my personal view. Am I audible? Yeah.
We'll cut it, don't bother.
Okay. Won't discuss much about Indian Oil, because we all know that oil is going to stay here for many years. We have been listening about it, hearing about it. It's going to, but I think it's going to last forever. For that, from that, I am moving on to my earlier company. It's a joint venture company of Indian Oil, HPCL, BPCL. I want to explain a little bit about that to the audience here. It's a joint venture company of 3 downstream oil sectors. So nothing is left in that case. So we all joined together to lay a pipeline from Kandla to Gorakhpur to feed around 25% of LPG customers of India. We'll be connecting to the bottling plants where all the cylinders are bottled. So it's basically a security as well as environmental sustainability effort which Government of India initiated, and we implemented it. Because we have a fight with the gentleman sitting here, DFCCIL, for product movement. But if you talk about pipeline, it's the safest, environmental friendly, and till now cheapest mode of transportation. Coming back to the question of the initiatives which helped sustaining and meeting regulatory requirement and environmental concerns, the moment this company was formed, it was like a joint venture. We had only 3 KMPs from these 3 companies, and then we joined together. My boss, I'm from Indian Oil. My boss is from HPCL, now BPCL. Now I'm back to Indian Oil. So we have experience of all 3 oil companies working. So the moment this company was formed, like it's a 2,800 kilometer long pipeline laid almost 1.5 meters below the earth. 2,700 kilometers. So the first stakeholder which came into mind is farmers. They are our partners. They will be there with this company forever. We moved out, but those 95,000 farmers will be there. So for that, we thought of a solution which I think is now prevalent, GIS. And during the laying of the pipeline only, we went for the best route to avoid these population. And all these more than 95,000 farmers are now mapped in our system. So that will help during any exigencies, any emergency, to inform them. Then one other layer of system, GIS system, is mapped, which connects to the nearby hospitals and administrative offices. So that is right now during construction. Once the system is operationalized, then maintenance also will be taken care of with that system. So that once GIS is in place during construction, we are able to take care of the biggest stakeholder, which is farmers. And then once the line is running, then we have to talk to them about the problems which any oil pipeline has, pilferages, and some issues which can happen during construction also. So pilferages is someone who is trying to enter into our pipeline and get the LPG from that without having any security system. So taking that into aspect, because it's going to be a big issue once the pipeline is damaged. So there we are implemented, it's right now in the stage of implementation. This is called Pipeline Intrusion Detection and Warning System. So that, because once the pipeline is laid, and a whole set of OFC cable is also laid. So once if somebody is trying to, say, any equipment on the pipeline hitting on then the acoustics, sound bites are captured, and based on the analysis of that sound bite, we can understand what is that, who is trying to do what to the pipeline. So this analysis part, again, coming back to the question, like here we require a lot of help from this new technology, AI and ML, because refining those signatures, actually pinpointing to the spot and sending our people. So this actually pipeline is a very good transport mechanism till the time there is nothing happening to them. So we have to take care of any exigency also. So these two technologies we have been using, and we expect some help from the industry who are actually in AI and ML too, because a lot of database is coming out from the GIS. 2,700 kilometers pipeline, 45 national highways we have crossed, more than 70 railway lines we have crossed, and as already 95,000 farmers. So all this data is there in our system. So how to utilize that? Because I think gentlemen from their MP state, we have also a rich database of land use. So all these things will be integrated ultimately. So basically these two systems, we are trying to help the environment as well as the stakeholders. So that is what we are trying to help governance as well as, I would take, environment as such.
Name one technology which the PSUs must invest in now.
Again, it's a very repeated technology, which is AI, ML. But I think here, as you said, digital sovereignty, lot of scope is there for the startup industry to come out, because I think data is there with everyone now. How to utilize that data, predict some actionable things, and come out with, say, we are getting maybe thousands or millions of signals, but we have to find out, refine it to maybe 10 or 5 actionable items. Then only this technology is going to help us. So there I feel AI ML technology is going to really help us get the data, train it, and then train the model, and then come out with some actionable points. So there I think we expect industry, especially because here the investment may not be that much. Small companies can also come and start working on that. So that's what I think we should go for.
Thank you, Sandeep ji. Coming to Anwaya ji. Anwaya ji is all CISO of Grid Controller of India. First, what is all?
Actually, as per the government regulation, each organization must have a CISO, Chief Information Security Officer, and alternate CISO, who should be working in parallel because there should not be any gap in the information security governance and monitoring. So you must have a redundant, you must have redundancy even in the leading position. So the alternate CISO is that only.
Good. I think many of the organizations should learn having this as a system. But how are you ensuring PSU-led digital platforms are secure, interoperable, and built for the long haul? Because, again, you are operating in a critical infrastructure. And I heard the Prime Minister say that we had around 10 crore cyber attacks from Pahalgam incident. Now, and a lot of it, I presume, will be targeting our critical infrastructure. So how do you plan and address these issues?
Yeah, first again, all those disclaimers stands, but taking that clue from what Honorable Prime Minister said, and I think we should take pride that none of these attacks ultimately could succeed to make any major damage to Indian critical infrastructure. So that gives a very clear idea that as on date, we are really successful in securing the Indian critical infrastructure in a very sort of a very convincing way. Now, how to do that? Now, obviously, I can talk about my industry. We are the power system operator. And I, as a CERT grid operation, I can talk about the power sector as a whole where we interact. There could be many other technologies, many other sort of innovations and architecture which are being used by various PSUs for securing their infrastructure. But we being critical information infrastructure, there are certain basic things which we feel is very important to be implemented. Obviously, first and foremost, adoption of a framework. Many PSUs has grown with various legacy systems, and be it in mostly in OT, there are a lot of legacy systems, and the entire security as a concept also has grown with various subjectivity depending on the human perception of how they see the security, how they see security as an enabler vis-a-vis as a showstopper. So if you really keep it for that frame of mind, then your infrastructure may have a lot of gaps. So it's very important. We always vouch that first and foremost, we should adapt the infrastructure. Either you develop your own or adapt any of the framework which is available, be it a 27001 framework or NIST framework, whatever it is. Then design your security based on that framework and then implement that security. And then, obviously, you touch people, process, and technology, all those three vertical equally, if not giving more stress on people. And while you are doing so, it's most important that you do a proper risk assessment of each of these vertical against your framework, a gap analysis, and try to build up your security controls based on that. I'll just with this answer, I'll just try to touch upon on the question you have asked, that what the technology the PSU should adapt. The answer, I believe, is we should not think what technology should be adapted. Technology should not be a buzzword to be adapted. We need to understand what is required for us. We need to have a thorough gap analysis. We need to have a risk assessment. And finally, each and every industry may have a totally different set of technology which is required for them, depending on their maturity, depending on their operation, business requirement, all those things. So there should not be a one technology we should say that it is adaptable by every PSU. The best thing, I believe, is you have to have a lot of introspection. So in Grid India, what we have done, basically, we have First and foremost, we have two different verticals. One obviously are the OT vertical, where we have a lot of critical data, critical infrastructures. There, the data acquisition system starting from a 30-second data acquisition to even around 250 samples per second, means 400 millisecond frequency of a data acquisition we have across India. So all those points are getting connected. So there are layers where the state sectors, even a small IPP or a RE plant, all those are getting connected centrally with our sort of infrastructure. So we have to identify the crown jewel, segregate those crown jewel, have layers of security in place, and we are doing that. Second, obviously, is the IT infrastructure, where we are mostly believing on the traditional concept of security, be it authentication mechanism, be it sort of across the application implementation of APIs, cryptographic solutions, all those things. And finally, most important thing, that we do have a lot of collaboration platform where we collaborate with the states, because in power industry the biggest problem is we have a very diverse sort of ecosystem, where there are states like maybe Sikkim or Pondicherry who are not that much tech savvy, who don't have that much of resources, where there are rich states and there are PSUs who are really having that type of enabling system. So we do have collaboration platform where we try to build up the ecosystem in a way so that everyone grows equally and create a balanced cybersecurity implementation where we can have the digital systems in place which is secure.
Okay, thank you. With that, we move to Ajay ji. Ajay ji is GM IT and heading the HR from HSCC, which is Hospital Services Consulting Corporation.
Correct.
So Ajay ji, will like to hear from you, how is the hospital sector, and particularly your organization, is building sustainability in its digital initiatives, and any innovations which you are planning or you have conceptualized?
As you know that HSCC is a consultancy organization in providing consultancy in the healthcare sector under Ministry of Health and under Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. And we face the problem for this how we deliver our infrastructure, healthcare infrastructure project to our clients. So we introduce our latest, adopt latest project management software and tools to so how we can deliver the project delivery to our clients in efficient manner, cost-effective manner. Because earlier it was the problem was the cost overrun, time overrun. So all these, how we can reduce it? We developed the 3D studio in our corporate office, Noida, and use the latest project management softwares and tools like that is BIM collaboration and AEC collections and that is BECIL managers. So we can develop the 3D modeling of this all these infrastructure projects, and we also develop the BOQ, cost estimation, and all these by all these softwares, and timely deliver all the project to the clients. And we also the monitor of these projects very efficiently manner. That is a very important thing. Our management as well as our clients can see the real-time monitoring of these projects. That is a very wonderful job we have done so far. Recently, we have introduced this system in our organization, and we have also given the training to our architect engineers in a very tremendous way. So more than 6 month trainings going on, and so develop all the engineers in that way. And this is our part of our HSCC for our clients of providing the IT services to our clients. So that is we plan for the IT infrastructures day one from the project management of the infrastructure itself. So whenever the project is ready for the infrastructure is ready for the client, we introduce from day one the IT services to our clients. Like we implement the HMIS, Hospital Management Information System, for the hospital management and run the hospitals from day one. And also the PACS, picture archival and communications, to make the hospitals filmless. and also the EMR, electronic medical records, and queue management system to how we can reduce the waiting time for the patients and improve the patient care services. So all these areas are the digital transformation, part of the digital transformation. And we also introduce this AI and other emerging technologies like AI, other AI, machine learning and AI, and blockchain management for the data security, encryption, end-to-end encryption for the data, patient data, because it's a DPDPD. This is also very important regulatory compliance. So we also implement all the healthcare standards for the HMIS. So now this journey is going on, and now the healthcare sector is undergoing the digital transformation itself. So there are lot of new technologies, innovations are coming. The challenges we are facing that there are so many challenges in that new startups are coming, but they can't implement their products or their innovation in the live environment. So we help them, how we can introduce their system, their products to our clients, and make the business model for that. So they can at least going ahead. Sure. So that is the important things. We play the role in this area.
Okay. Thank you, Ajay ji. With that, I'll move to Sumit ji, who is from Broadcast Engineering Consultants India Limited. Trust me, I mean, I don't know why both the consulting organizations have been kept farthest from me. I did not have any role in designing this. You can check with the organizers. With that, let's start with Sumit. Sumit, you are from BECIL.
Yeah.
And BECIL is involved in the broadcasting, providing consulting in the broadcasting domain. Now, how are you using sustainable digital infrastructure and creating the ecosystem in the broadcasting space?
Actually, when we talk about the broadcastings in more likely, we moving toward something like the information and then data. And we know that means when the amount of the data we are actually producing right now. And we also know that thing, the data we have, that data have collecting the information for present also, past also, and futures also. So analyzing that data we are implementing we are using the emerging technologies like AI and ML based models to analyze what was the malicious activities that are happening in that. So we also, because when we talk about the sustainability, we will not only talk about the impact on the environments. We also have to focus on what kind of the processes we are following. For the making the processes, what we are doing on the top of that, we are using the AI and ML based model to analyzing the risks, and also we are doing the predictive analysis and forecasting the future, whatever the future risks will be there. So this kind of the things we are doing for the security perspective, because when we talk about the data, then definitely we have to talk about whatever the security things will be there. So we are implementing the policies and all these kind of the things. And above the top of that, we are using the blockchain technology, because the chain of custody we have to maintain. So making it's the tamper proof, we are using the blockchain technology, and same time for the sustainability, we are also working on the regularly basis on the capacity buildings in the domain of properly hands-on and simulations we are using on that.
So thank you. I think our time is up. We have already eaten into the next slot. So I think thank all of you for answering the questions and giving your perspective on the topic. Thank you very much.